Does photography have to be such a lonely hobby? Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome to another video. Last fall, I began a monthly video of showing other people's images and calling it Image of the Month. I've offered several times in those videos and other videos to have you join in and put your image in with the others along with mine. It's not a critique. It's just if you want one of your images shown in a monthly video, maybe you don't have a website, maybe you don't have another YouTube channel. Even if you do, I don't care. If you just want to join in, be happy to have you. One of the reasons why I do that is because, in my opinion, photography at times can be a pretty lonely hobby. You may like that. I think a lot of photographers enjoy the solitude. I know in the mornings when I go out photographing birds or just walking along the lake, for me it's exercise, it's fresh air, it's my quiet time. You get to walk around inside of nature and see the birds. And it's a very enjoyable experience for me. There are other times where I like having people walk along with me. Now, when I'm down by the lake, sometimes I'll be down there and of course I'm looking towards the water or towards a bird or whatever, and people will come up behind you and you don't even necessarily hear them or see them, and hey, what are you doing? You looking at that bird there? And off goes the bird. So that does happen. And other times it's a way of meeting people. I can't say I've met anybody as a long-term friend because I haven't. But I've met people that live in the neighborhood. For example, there was a lady walking her dogs this morning. I've seen her many times. It turns out that she's lived in this neighborhood 30 years, and so have I. And I've seen her, but we've never said hello to each other or anything. And for once she said, "Hey, I see you with your camera all the time. What do you take pictures of?" So we had a 3-4 minute conversation, and her dogs barked at me and off she went. And there was another lady who was walking by, and she walked up to me and said, "What kind of camera do you have?" Which you get a lot. So I told her and we talked about it for a moment. And she said, "That heron there, his nest, or her nest, whatever, is over in my neighborhood just across the other side of the road. That's where they're nesting. And they have 2 chicks in there right now that are ready to fledge and leave the nest. They're getting close. So you might want to go over there and take some photographs." That was nice of her to stop and tell me that. Photographers try to have a little bit of a community, but they don't know how. You go to these, I used to belong to a photography club. At times it was an enjoyable experience, and other times it was like my writing group, where people who maybe they know something, maybe they don't know as much as they think they do, and they're just there to criticize other people and not necessarily bully them, but try to build themselves up rather than trying to build up other people. And it can be difficult. And that photography club was that way. There were 1 or 2 people in there that they were very good photographers, but they weren't there offering, in my opinion, good advice. They were there to show you how great they were compared to you, and you stink. And you're not nearly as good as them, and they're going to tell you why you stink and they're much better. It's not the way to do it. And it turns people off. It can be difficult to find the right group of people. Now, I have a friend of mine. He goes down to a place called Watakahatchee and Green Cay, which are 2 parks about a half hour, 45 minutes south of us. And they have spoonbills and herons and storks and green herons and great egrets and occasional night herons, all types of birds, alligators. You might see an occasional otter, raccoon, hawks, maybe even an eagle. There's a bobcat down there. There's screech owls. However, if you were to go to the lake right down here by my house, you'll see all the same birds, maybe not in the same day, but you don't see them all in the same day down there either. And I keep trying to convince them, hey, instead of driving down there all the time, just come here with me and just walk around the lake with me. And he's done it a couple of times. And for whatever reason, he goes back down there, and not being critical of him, it's just what he enjoys doing. Maybe it's because he likes the solitude and he doesn't want to walk around with other people. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting the way sometimes photographers are that way. My long-winded point is, that's why I do these monthly videos. I try to get other people involved so that they don't always feel so, I don't want to say isolated, but so that other people can enjoy their images and they can enjoy other people's images as well. It's one of the reasons why you probably don't even recognize this. However, I try to answer every comment that someone leaves. Even if they just say, nice video, I'll make a comment, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, thanks for your nice words, whatever. I try to make sure that they know I read it. Now, I don't have a large channel the way some of the bigger names do, so it's easier for me to do that. I get that. So again, I'm not trying to be critical of the big channels who maybe they react to every comment, maybe they don't, I don't know. That's up to them. But again, one of the reasons why I do it is because I want people to realize that they're not out there on their own. And I may not always offer the best advice on these videos. I try to, but I'm willing to help. And I'm willing to allow other people to communicate with each other, because that's how you learn. I learn something all the time. In my last video about the Z8, I spoke a little bit about, I wasn't sure what memory cards I was going to use to take my trip to Iceland. I was going to add a couple others. And there were 2 or 3 people who responded because I put in the video, hey, I'm not sure which one I want to go with. And there were 2 or 3 people who responded, and they gave me their reasons why, and I appreciated that, and I responded back to them. And I think that that's very important for other photographers to do that. To allow yourself to help other people. And I know that everybody has their own reason for doing their YouTube channels. Again, I'm not being critical of people who have a different motive or a different reason than me. They're entitled to have their channels for their particular needs and their particular reasons. Mine is because I like to communicate with other people. I'd like to try and help people if I can. And I'd like to have other photographers feel like my channel can be a little bit more of a community where they can help me and I can help them. Because Lord knows I don't know everything about photography. I'm certainly not a tech type guru, or I get into all the specs and can analyze lenses with this type of lens coating or this many blades or whatever the reasons are. I mean, I have some understanding of it, but there's a lot of people who understand it far better than I do. And so I tend to watch their videos when I want that particular advice or that particular reason as to why I may upgrade to that lens. Maybe I shouldn't upgrade to that lens. Because let's face it, new products are coming out all the time. It doesn't mean that their reason would match my reason for wanting that lens. Technically, they tell me why this might be a good lens or why it might not be. Then I can make my own decisions of, well, does that matter to me for my use case? Anyway, I'm making the offer again. This is the April monthly video. You've seen the images go up on the screen a few times. I'd like to have a lot more people if I could. I said I would do it for a year, and I'll continue to do it for a year. Once I get to that year, then I'll decide if we're going to continue on with it or not. But I would hope to get a lot more people to join in and be part of this monthly community where people can share their images and not necessarily feel so isolated in their hobby. And how you can do it is just go to my website, get my email address, send me an email, and I'll tell you how to get me your image. It's not that difficult. And I'll be happy to put yours in. I'll probably have one for May, but because I'm going to Iceland for a couple of weeks, I'll have to schedule around when I can do it. Might be at the beginning of May, might be at the very end of May, I'm not sure. But if you'd like to join in for May, please do. And beyond. I'm off my soapbox now. Take care of yourself. Good luck with your photographing. And please hit that like and subscribe button. Maybe hit the little bell or whatever it is so that when I come out with future videos, you can keep watching. I've said enough. Please like and subscribe. Take good care. Till next video, I'll see you.